The debate over the salaries of federal lawmakers has refused to go away. The chairman of the Presidential Advisory Committee on Anti-Corruption, Professor Ishe Sagi, recently accused the lawmakers of running the country dry with the size of their salaries. However, the lawmakers have dismissed this accusation, asking him to get the facts from the Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Allocation Commission. That's exactly what we sought to do in this week's edition of the program. Hello there. Thank you for joining us on the program this week. I'm Gloria Umezuki. The Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Allocation Commission is charged with the responsibility of setting the remunerations of public office holders. In our interview, the chairman of the commission clears the air on the salaries and allowances of federal lawmakers. Also, some residents of the nation's capital are lamenting the impact of flood in their communities. We'll take you to some of these communities right here in the Federal Capital Territory. But first, a summary of the major stories making the headlines in the nation's capital.
Defense Headquarters has branded the indigenous people of Biafra as a militant terrorist organization and urged parents to dissuade their wards from joining the group. The Director of Defense Information, Major General John Enenche, assured residents of the protection of lives and property in all parts of the country by the military. However, the group has denied being a terrorist group, insisting that it is a non-violent movement and that it has never carried arms or killed anyone.
The governor is not a commander of the army.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian army has insisted that it is not withdrawing troops deployed for Operation Python Dance in the southeast. Governor Okezie Ikpeazu of Abia State had announced that the troops will gradually be withdrawn from the streets of the state. President Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana was in Nigeria and had a private meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari. He later told State House correspondents that he is in the country to see the president after his return from medical vacation in the United Kingdom.
All of us have been very anxious about his well-being, and it was very good news to hear that he had returned. But we're Africans, and it meant that I had to come and see for myself how he was. And I'm very delighted to see that he's come back and very vigorous and, as always, very engaged on the issues of our day. So we've had a good half an hour together, reviewing matters both in Ghana and in Nigeria, as well as immediate matters to do with what's going on in the ECOWAS community. So I'm very happy that I've had this opportunity to come. And I'm going back to Ghana very fortified and able to tell the Ghanaian nation that our big brother Nigeria is well and that things are well in hand here.
President Buhari also received President Yoweri Museveni of Uganda. He expressed happiness with the bilateral relations existing between his country and Nigeria. He hopes the relationship will expand to cover rail and air transport.
On the issue of the bilateral relations, what is easiest now is sharing institutions. Like this National Defense College, some Ugandans have already graduated from there, 6 of them. But we can send more. And we normally send officers to the Senior Command and Staff College in Kaduna, I think. There's one where we normally send them. And I was informed by the ministers in Nigeria here that many Nigerians come to Uganda to study in universities. So sharing institutions is easy because that one involves just movement of human beings. But later on, we would like to revive our airline so that we establish an air link, because that one is also easier. But ultimately, we would have to have physical linkages through the railway. That will be done for the future.
In another development, President Buhari will leave Nigeria for New York on Sunday to attend the 72nd session of the United Nations General Assembly. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Geoffrey Onyama, had earlier listed the focus of the President's speech to include how to repatriate stolen funds back into the country, combating terrorism, and the entrenchment of the human rights of its people.
A major global challenge, of course, is the issue of terrorism. And for us, of course, that is also a big priority, and it's one of the priorities Mr. President has identified and that the country is fully engaged in addressing. So we will again be engaging with the international community in trying to find a definitive and lasting solution to the global challenge of terrorism. We will share with the international community the challenges that we have been facing and successes, and the further support that we need in our engagement with the scourge of terrorism, and also support in freeing all the hostages held by the terrorist groups here in Nigeria, the Chibok girls and all the others. And that's still a priority for this government. Another issue will be the question of the illicit flow of financial assets around the world.